Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Kenton Wakes Up. I'm Dr. Kenton. Trying to do two things at once here. It's not working out great, but anyway. Today is Thursday, the 27th of February, 2025. You may recognize this is the largest mug I own. Enough said. Today in the cup is Cubano Roast from Mayorga, made according to the brewing specifications of the local barista. 70 grams of coffee in my percolator. It's an utter game changer. A little coarser on the grind, also. My amateur understanding of things like surface area and dissolution of solids and so forth. I thought that if you had a little finer grind, that the more of the elements would dissolve into the water because there's more surface area per granule. But finer grind leads to other negative consequences like clogged filters, grit getting into the final cup. A little coarser grind is called for when using your perc. So today, um, it's not a common occurrence, but today Winston woke me up licking my face, which is his little. Well, I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or it's him just expressing a little bit of, hey, I gotta get outside fast. So we went outside. He barely made it across the street before number one of two. He was pulling for all he was worth, too. It was pretty amazing. There's something out in my eye, but I can't do anything about it right this minute, so I just gotta wipe it. So Winston woke me at 6, which is an hour earlier than I would normally get up. Here it is, it's just barely after 7. Thursday's the day when I would ordinarily get together with my buddy or I have a meeting at 9, so in 2 hours. Then I have a lunch meeting with my buddies. It'll be just one buddy today, around noon or noon 15 or whatever. And then tonight I have a peer observation for one of our colleagues who, yeah, who asked me to. And I live my, there's a show called Letterkenny, and the main character on there, his name is Wayne, and he's usually the dispenser of wisdom. And one of the wisdoms that he has shared over time is a person asks you for help, you help them, even if you don't like them. The don't like part doesn't apply in this case, but I'm saying that when somebody asks me to do something, I will. So I got asked to observe, I'll observe. I got asked by another person to observe, I observe. I got asked by another person who asked me if I would observe, and I said I would. So I think by the end of the semester, I'll have four colleagues. And then I had another couple in the fall. Everybody needs peer observations. You need a you need at least, I think it's 2 a year for your first 3 years, and then you need when you go up for tenure, that means that you'd have 6, 8, close to 10, maybe somewhere between 8 and 10. And then after you get tenure, you have 2 per evaluation period. So you'd have 2 in your next binder to go from associate professor to professor. There are some people who call it full professor. Okay, so if the rank you're aspiring to has modifiers, it's just the rank, not a modifier added on. It's not assistant full professor. It's not associate full professor. It's assistant professor until you receive tenure at our institution. And then it's associate professor until you get your next promotion if you choose to seek one out. And then you go from associate professor to full professor. It's just professor. They're changing the rank structure for people who are not tenured or eligible for tenure, and they're calling them teaching professors. So I I haven't seen it, but I presume the structure will go assistant teaching professor, associate teaching professor, and then teaching professor. I hope they don't say full teaching professor. You weren't cut into slices when you walked in the door, and then you gradually are reassembling yourself. Assistant, associate. No, 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 no. My rank is professor. When I look on my business card, it says professor. It doesn't say full professor. Anyway, today, as I was trying to sort of allude to delicately, I'm an hour less of sleep, and I'm not gonna blame Winston. What does Winston have to do with it? He's telling me that he's got business to attend to, even though last night we went out at a time that's a little later than we'd ordinarily go, and he took care of business then. Also, wait a minute, wait a minute. The other thing about Winston is that he really doesn't like loud noises. And now that the weather has gotten a little warmer and the daylight lasts a little longer, you've got knuckleheads. I'll call them knuckleheads. I'd call them knucklehead to their faces. Knuckleheads who want to take their modified exhaust systems out on the road that's not too far from our house. That's a highway, divided highway. No, it's not a divided highway. It's a 4-lane road with a double yellow line down the middle. So it's 4 lanes side by side with a double yellow line. And they decide that, hey, this stretch of road between the middle school and the fire station is a great place to really rev my engine up and make loud, loud, loud noises. And if I happen to be walking my dog when one of these people sets off on their trumpet blasting adventure, he hears that and says, "Nope, I'm going straight home." So we got almost, I don't know, a half of a normal walk last night to end the night. He did he did part of his job, but not the entire job, and that's probably why he had a need. So I don't blame people for their desire to express themselves. But who knew that, Honda Civic blasting their modified exhaust at about 8:15 p.m. one day would have sequelae like 11 hours later. Not 11, 10 hours later. That I would be greeted with a tongue bath on my face. Anyway, at least he told me. At least yeah. So everything's cool, except the fact that I would have really enjoyed that extra hour sleep today. I'm dragging meeting in a little less than 2 hours, lunch, and then another event that starts at 5. So today's going to be chock a block. Greet the day, seize the day. Love you. Bye.